Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna
jam. Self-control. Is that like a form of knowledge or maybe paying homage to the laws, commandments, and statutes that physically, spiritually, and mentally confine you or just confine you? Self-control. It's putting your mouth and your emotions on hold. You got to freeze them cold. Because, baby, once you warm up this tongue, it becomes a disaster. And it'll incinerate your happily ever after while simultaneously filling me up with laughter. But let's unpack this disaster, shall we? Suppose I called you a slut, your mama a mutt, and said her father had her after his father busted a misguided nut. But self-control will tell me I should shut the fuck up. You see, inside this mental space, baby, there are padded walls. And in order for you to unlock these halls, you got to have the balls, big draws. No certificate, no doctorate, no PhD could ever amount to the levels of this degree. You understand? No matter what you add or you take away, baby, it'll never equal my problem. Allow me to introduce myself. It's Malysa. You spell that Malysa, and when you flip it around and pronounce it again, it sounds like asylum. Yeah, I know that's crazy. Self-control. That's something I try to grab every day when I wake up. But I usually end up with two handfuls if I really don't give a fuck. You ever wrestle with yourself? Because I have. And so I don't have a W to pass out to nobody else. Oh, well. But you might want to pay attention while this school is in session. Don't become the lesson or the focus of my aggression, because that he said and that she said will have you clouded with the wrong perception. And I see you headed in the wrong direction. But before you leave, let me yell, objection! But then I'm going to calm down and turn around so I can go and finish my meditation about having more self-control. There are moments in my life when my mind goes into heavy overtime. The clock don't even stop to rewind. And at the same time, I'm trying not to get left behind. Once you learn to map out all those curves, it's all tomatoes, as long as you make sure you keep catching up. You see, I'm very passionate about what and who I believe in. I think I'm still grieving having to die to myself out of belief in that there was something greater than myself. And I even degraded myself to throw arms at the bloody feet and palms of the same type of misdirection. So now I just chuck up my deuces to the wind. I think I'll just go find God for myself within. And within the time that it takes to realize that you've made a mistake and you give, but they seem to just want to take, and they take until they realize that you're no longer the formal or the normal part of self, you're the latter. So you prop yourself up next to the boat and just keep swimming your way to the escape. You know, it gets the loneliest for me when I try to include other people. That's why I be telling you that my shoes be having issues. They felt too big from the jump. So no connected, sorrow-soaked-filled tissues ever keep my throat, my feet, or my heart from balling up. You see, like I said, my mind grinds in heavy overtime. The clock don't even stop to rewind, and at the same time, I'm trying not to get left behind. Once I've learned to map out all those curves, it's all tomatoes and tomatoes, as long as I make sure that I keep catching up. This is going to be the kind of rhyme that whine, not in a begging type of cry, but more like a wine that you can dine on, like bananas and Donkey Kong. like Afro beats that get you up on the balls of your feet, winding them brown sugar ingredients for the greedy. Like when I say, go ahead and open up, let me feed you, let me seed you, let me sprinkle you with a little bit of knowledge. Let me help you unlock this number one numerical option. I'm talking this exclusive combination. Let me drip this wisdom from between mine and onto your lips. Because I love hearing all the different ideologies that you love to spit. Yeah, I know they call me rotten, but have they smelled the flowers in their garden? Yeah, I know they be talking, but it be in my footprints they wishing they was walking and damn near stalking, trying to get me to separate the wheat from the tare. And I'd be like, go ahead somewhere while I don't have time to care. Imagine mixing them alien nations with inner circles and then watching them crop circles disguise themselves like sheeps, but they in wolves' clothing. So I just be like, cows, move, bitch. You can get out my way. You see, the way this might be calling me, man, it be calling me, man. The way this might be calling me, it be calling me like a dope fiend, or like when Mike be asking Annie, are you okay? I said, the way this might be calling me, man, it just be calling me. It be calling me like a dope fiend. I said, the way this might be calling me, it be calling me like when Mike be asking Annie, are you okay? But me, I be poetically starstruck, stuck somewhere between visualizing and writing out scenes in my mind. Like, imagine getting the best brain from the head of the class. Anyway, like I said, this rhyme gonna go a few times between love and passion, never hate, because I'm never a hater. So we just gonna hashtag it like executive producer Dick Wolf. But maybe not, because I feel like his shows don't never have closure. So I'ma just rewrite it over and call it hashtag Malysa. Again, you'll want to spell that Malysa. And when you flip it around and pronounce it again, it sounds like asylum. And yeah, I know that shit goes crazy.
Lost love found hopeless, the sign said. So I poured another drink to clear my head and tried to understand what I just read, but instead I became more confused because I couldn't comprehend how somebody could lose love then find it again. And then find it in a state of hopelessness. That's like finding an ocean motionless. I wondered who in the world could have spoken this. Whoever it is, they know what broken is. If I could find that person, I'd show them this, the ancient scrolls, and I'd open it to 1 Corinthians 13. You see, it says right here that love hopes all things and it endures all things. So it's impossible to lose. But then it dawns on me that man has the ability to choose. And we choose to reduce love to a slogan. It's an emotional pill we feel when legs are open until the bond is broken. And what once was spoken is now just a token emotion with no devotion. Humanity is responsible for love's demotion because we are so focused on our own self promotion. So we bow down to the God of self in the temple of pride, in our arrogance, unwilling to lay our egos aside. And we pray for a way out, but there is no escape from the inexplicable truth that it's really ourselves that we hate. We debate the merits of animal rights. We pay no attention to our brother's plight. It's like we're blinded by our own selfish light, self-absorbed in our little orbs of likes and mentions and follows. Closets and refrigerators full, but our hearts are hollow. We suck the penis of pride and swallow while we post pics of how lit it is swinging from the gallows. We've become rainwater on the sidewalk shallow. Shit, Facebook's the new Bible. Because it's not the ancient scrolls we hold hollow. We seek the genie inside the TikTok bottle, scroll full throttle to our favorite IG model, and press a heart, because love has not been impressed in our heart. of mortal men whose sin is denying the true light within our hearts. And that's where we start to find the love that's lost.
Whenever I see a ladybug, I cannot help but smile. Whenever I see a ladybug, my mind travels a while back to a time when I first held a paintbrush by her guiding hand. Autistic 7-year-old me, hyped up with so much life, with no social skills. Adults were uptight at how I behaved in class, but my parents never asked a doctor to test me. It was the 1990s, and no one took autism or ADHD seriously. I almost flunked kindergarten due to my inabilities to follow directions or attend to studies. Yet, art helped me. Having an art teacher made things easier for me to process the world around me, to harness the energy raging inside of me into projects done so creatively. To create anything is like a superpower. And that's was how I began to view art. Thanks to her. Thanks to Miss Tagalagas. She was the Yoda to my Skywalker. She woke up a force in me that would shape shift the world around me and shape shift how others see the world around themselves. To be creative is one of the greatest things one can ever learn. To be a creative is one of the greatest things one can ever achieve. Thank you for the gift that I had inside of me all along. This isn't goodbye forever. This is so long for now. I'll see you again the next time I see a ladybug. And this is why I will smile the next time and every time I see a ladybug.
There are some nights it's hard to sleep. The caged dog that is my creativity won't stop barking up my tree, yelping for freedom at 3 o'clock in the morning. No matter how many cans I throw out the window, that junkyard dog, guarding a land full of dreams, won't leave me be like a bitch in heat, gnawing at my ankles for attention. But the laundry holds a pillow over my head, trying to suffocate whatever desire I have left. And the dishes overflow until everything is covered. The floors need to be swept and mopped. The mouths need to be fed. Grief is a rock in the back of my throat, and by this time, my creativity is left howling at the moon in my soul, reminding me that I have a calling, but I don't have free hands to answer any calls or open any doors, because the laundry makes mountains of mundane matters. The dishes turn to rivers of scraps and silverware, holding hostage the air I desperately need. The floors are covered in dirt and grime. The mouths need to be fed. Grief is a brick in my stomach, and by nightfall, the howling becomes tinnitus. A pack of wild dogs barking in a frenzy, trying to find its way out the pen. The pound is no place to house a pack of wolves, like the body is no place to store a gift. And it's a struggle trying to find acres in these hands for space to run, a place to fly, where ideas won't go to die. I know the world needs what I keep inside, and it's a struggle. Oh, sorry. But the longer I cage these dreams, the more they sound like a marching band of what I should be, constantly ringing my ears to death, and all I want to do is make it stop. That's the first one. And the second one, it's a little short because I don't have it all, but I'm working on it. I like what I have. Here we go. And I wonder who sold the United States and how much did it cost? Was it on sale because almost half the country is sick and obese? Was it on clearance because we were ridden with dis-ease? Did they sweeten the deal by throwing in Gaza for free? Are we still one nation under God? Who's God? 4 legs or 2? Does it serve me or just those that look like you? Now that Mexicans are gone, are the Puerto Ricans next? Will there be paper checks, skinned against parchment to see if you belong? When white is right, any other color is wrong. Are the new owners made of bleach? The way they whitewash our history, that's the way it seems. And why are they so angry there's a month for Black history, making the existence of other cultures a mystery? What are they trying to hide from you and me? Is it because their ancestors ate slaves? Is that when they think America was great?
Possibilities unseen like hope. I dream a dream, I cope, never actualizing the realization, more like tranquilizing the devastation. My mind seeks epiphanies, my soul speaks of summer breeze, my heart breaks sick with disease, my body folds on bended knees, and I pray, I pray through the silence. I muddle, but no rebuttal from the throne of heaven's highest. I'm at my lowest, and where is your highness? I'm minus on my promises, but +1 on my bondages. I don't understand what the problem is, why I gotta make my bed where the somber live, where the black mamba is. Snake bites late nights for baby mama's kids. And I am the sum of 2 minus 1 plus everything that's done to divide black fathers from sons, multiplied by systemic oppression that regulates my progression. The math don't equal a positive expression, just less answers and more questions for a God who's silent. But maybe God's silent because she's already spoken into the hearts of a people that remain unbroken, and the silence is really a scream that awakens generations from the fields of Africa to southern plantations to the rebirth of a nation under God with visible liberty and justice for all. So maybe God doesn't have to speak like I thought, because the righteousness of a truthful liberation is screaming within our hearts. No justice, no peace. I am a revolutionary. All power to the people by any means necessary. Holistic poverty is probably the title of my discography, and possibly the world's greatest hypocrisy, like capitalism and democracy. Got us believe in something that is not to be when 1% controls what ought to be shared with the 99%. But honestly, that's just a hypothesis. Until it's proven to me that not the system, but it's the people that's robbing me. And that's what bothers me. How can good people in a bad system change the program? Or does a bad system corrupt good people? I say no man can survive the elixir of money unscathed. And the proof is many a good men own slaves. I mean, church going, law abiding citizens never for a moment thought about the sin they were living in. And it wouldn't end until shots were fired and cannons roared in the uncivil war to preserve the core of a nation who didn't realize what they were even fighting for. And it wasn't so people could soar. It was because rich white men were afraid of being poor. So almost 200 years since the Emancipation Proclamation, and you still got white men afraid they're gonna lose the nation. And the situation ain't changed, it's just updated. And they done added the LGBTQIA plus to the list of hated and regulated to the back of the bus status. But while they focusing on blacks and gays, they better learn Spanish before in God we trust vanish and the people rise up and banish the inventor of systemic racism. Your quest for freedom has ended in your own prison. It's funny how the perpetrator is also the victim of their own decisions. I can't tell you how this story ends, my sisters and brothers, but I can say that nobody will be truly free until they wish the same thing for their brother.
Let me tell you, if my hands has words, the people on the street in North Carolina would not like me. Even the haters would want a piece of if my hands had words. There would be no point of going back and forth because if my hands has words, I would get the last word just like that. You don't think so? Try to find out and see what I can do. I'll be another Mike Tyson. So fuck around and find out if my hands has words. Best believe it will be something you will want to see. I will blow you up just like the wind when it's blowing wild. So come find out if my hands has words and why would I be another Mike Tyson or Nia Jax. I want you to come see what I do to that ass. With my hands, if my hands has words. I'm tired of you thinking and knowing that you can play and be in my face with those hands. If they had words, I know I'm not the one. I know I'm not the one. You don't want this smoke. And that's on period, poo.
I've been playing with poetic styles, and I was given this challenge by Goddess Tamani Rain, and it's called a Glossamer poem. And it's basically where you take 4 lines and you form another poem with them. So you end up with 40 lines, 10 lines per each line you take, or so on. And it's typically from like a famous poem. And I chose Maya Angelou's poem, Still I Rise. You may write me down in history, yet we are more than ink and paper's weight, story carving beyond your limited grasp, lineage of queens with crowns made of battles, ancestors etched in stone, not shame, fighting wars in whispers, unheard but unbowed. History wears our scars like armor you refuse to acknowledge, but in every turn of page, we still emerge. Revolution blooming in silence that won't be televised or digitized. With your bitter, twisted lies, you've tried to craft our name from restraints, bound our skin to stories never told. Rest assured, truth seeps through cracks in your tales, venom spit from lips only fueling our growth. Our roots spread deeper, unshaken, words twist, but we untwist them in our spirits. For every lie, we mold truth that shines, undaunted by weight of your deceit. You may trod us in the very dirt, but our essence is not buried, only reborn. We plant seeds of resistance in Mother Earth. Every footstep pressed down makes us stronger. More you tread, we stand taller with each bow, with each blow. Dirt holds our history, our roots, our power. We rise from debts, dusting off oppression, emerging from ground with fire in our veins. You can bury our bodies, but our spirits take flight. But still, like dust, we rise in wind, dancing on breath of freedom. Light as air, heavy with purpose. We ascend beyond beyond reach of your chains. Dust may be small, but it covers earth, and so do we. Unstoppable, uncontainable. Your weight cannot keep us grounded. For every fall, we find wings. Through every storm, we remain unbroken, but still like dust, we rise.
They hate my blackness, yet they love my blackness. They keep the doc's office grossing like a box office to recreate this black ass. On Dr. Phil and Maury imitating my black sass. Using bronzing sprays when the tanning booths have waiting times through the roof to bake pale skin to fake just enough melanin to appear exotic. Though their disdain for blackness is obvious and toxic, Botox faces and collagen-filled lips hitting the gym to publicly squat to widen hips, hoping to rebirth the nation through barren wombs. Plotting on black men's seed while planning delivery to his tomb. But what about that one drop rule? See, they love to use those in black skin as a Swiss army tool to be their nannies, to be their cooks, to do hard labor while they criticize our looks and burn our books. And smart enough to be human computers to send them into space while the good old boys get off on putting a boy in his place. Don't they know bronze-skinned people map the stars in the sun? Now they're just quick to clutch their purses and grab their guns when it's just the mailman. Dude, like, are you daft? I mean, for real. They hate black skin, but must know how our hair feels, how it can be styled in so many ways,
how our skin can come in so many shades. They want black back in subservient roles. But that won't be easy. Hear the death bell tolls. So many refuse to read the books on the shelf, and we're at the start of history repeating itself. But things are not like they were before. See, we are ready and armed for an uncivil war, and we are everywhere. Infiltrated your suburbs and offices without a care. We won't go back to traveling with green pages, although there's an app for that, kept current through the ages. See, those sundown towns will be flipped around. Tag, it's your turn to live in fear. What the fuck is your day glow skin doing around here? Didn't they get the memo or the sticky note? We are with the shits. Remember the Alabama riverboat? See, that was the warning shot. We're long past the sit-ins, and this fight has even their folks fitting in. Tried to raise racist kids, little Bubba and Becky Sue, but surprise, motherfucker, their BFF is black and pops. They have the gun trained on you. Their teacher is black and treated them with kindness, removed the glaucoma of white supremacists' blindness. And let's not forget about the undercovers, those whose bloodline was recently discovered. See, the results from that 23andMe got folks digging through their ancestry, found out that great grandma that daddy raved about was white passing. Here we are generations later, that one drop rule still lasting. But don't even worry about it. You'll never find us all. Because from inside the house comes the call. We are a melting pot, a gumbo, if you will, twice, if not 4 times as skilled, because we have to be, just to get the job. No one is giving us that nepotism law. Worked our knuckles raw up to that corner spot. Now it's too many melanated folks in mansions and C-suites got bigots upset, blaming black success on DEI hires. We finally rebuilt our own again, and now they want to recreate the Black Wall Street fires. We pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps, made of barbed wire, so that line is gapped. We know some of them can't stand to share space, so here, let me help you pack your suitcase. Because they can get the hell on. Follow your blood back to your original zone, in the mountains, in the snow, to the depths of hell where the sun won't go. I mean, you're allergic to it anyway, so shoo fly. Go the fuck away.
Hey, how are you doing? My name is Wall Poet, and I'll be your poet for this evening and the remainder of this piece. Looks like we have some poetry on the menu. So please take off your coat, kick back, relax, and I hope you brought your appetite for these poetic verses. Next, let me tell you about our specials, because for starters, we have a delicious and delectable delicacy full of alliteration, with a dash of assonance slowly heated and aimed to keep you seated at the table begging for more. As for the entrees, don't worry, I have something truly amazing. Sauteed metaphors on a bed of similes sprinkled with a dab of personification, enough to make your plate stand up and dance for fucking joy. Oh, you say you're practically starving. Well, that's perfect, because for dessert we have flambéed hyperbole, enough for you and 40 of your closest friends. Wait, so you don't understand the menu? Well, then say no more, fam. Let me explain. I know that poetry can sometimes feel out of touch or out of reach, like a high-end menu from a restaurant you can barely pronounce. You might think it raves so much about love and how the world is essentially falling apart right before our fucking eyes. Or you might also think that poetry has nothing to offer that Netflix and chill can already take care of. But I beg to differ, because you know what? The art that lives and breathes on your wall is poetry. The Spotify playlist of your favorite tracks is poetry. And the motivation for your love-making sessions to last at least 3 songs is also poetry. And I'm sure you're saying, that's what any poet would say. Yes, but typically not so graphically. But according to the Oxford Languages Dictionary that breathes inside of my laptop, any intense sense of beauty or emotion can be poetry, which means the first time you had your heart broken was poetry. But I know what you're saying. How can my heart being ripped apart from my chest and then being served to me on a charcuterie board by my first girlfriend be poetry? How can crying alone in a parking lot at 11 p.m. in my rundown Nissan Altima at age 20 be poetry? But it is. But then it's also a first kiss and the sight of your newborn child and can even be the touch of God. But for me, it's definitely setting a stage on fire with just my words. And when me and an audience are sharing a telepathic connection while they're laughing at every punchline and each word I say means something, it's hard to explain a feeling that overwhelms and inspires creativity or the need to spark change. But I can tell you that whether you believe it or not, poetry is a necessity. It lives inside of all of us, waiting to come out when we most need it. It is our food, but not just any food. It's food that nourishes the soul, because poetry, when it's done well, it's not just edible lines that we take in and shit out. It is our compass, map, and raft. And poetry, when it's done well, is our survival gear and reason to persevere when everything else inside of us screams to just give up and quit. And I hope this poem was done well, because in this world full of infinite beauty and pain, poetry is something that we can use more of, but most of all, is something that we all need. I've been writing these poems because this is what I was born to do. But in all honesty, it kind of feels like, what the hell else can I do? When scrolling on your phones leads to this just in, more breaking news, leaving you oversaturated, overwhelmed, and overdue for some time to just decompress. So give me Dos Equis chilled and some Netflix. Give me a mic and 15 minutes to rock a poetry set list. Give me a writing prompt that I wasn't even challenged to do to begin with. I've been writing these poems because these words demolish repressive ideas like bulldozers do bricks, then brushing aside the rubble to plant seeds of hope next to it. Realizing that my stress can't compare to those truly living this. What's the point of an American dream if it threatens your existence? What's the point of an American dream when you're consistently considered less? What's the point of an American dream when the American dream is dull and tarnished? And yet we still persist. I've been writing these poems for a sense of clarity and understanding. When this is my only therapy and poets and musicians slowly start to resemble family. And you don't need to challenge me to write poems, because this is my true form of expression, effortlessly flowing from essence to fingertips. When a pen and paper are no longer needed, just a cell phone, Google Docs, and the feeling I just wrote some dope. Able to spark ideas deemed as revolutionists, able to electrify minds of those who doubted I'd ever be able to do this, able to lay roots so that they bloom into something prodigious. I've been writing these poems. Or should I say, I have been writing these poems? Maybe that's just the educator in me. Either way I say it, it's still me. While these poems have been desperately trying to find me for years, as I ignored them, doubting their necessity, ignoring them as they lurked in the lunchbox filled with arroz con pollo I took to work, ignoring them while asleep in the pockets of my favorite shirts. Yeah, I ignored them, but they finally appeared when I needed them the most. I've been writing these poems, or better yet, I stay writing poems that I regularly mold like polymer clay, shaping into towers that conversate with the sun in the middle of the day, that I hope will inspire the most vulnerable to pick up a pen and paint, that drag me out of bed and refuse to let me sleep until they're finally scribed on a digital page, that allow me to soar and reach supersonic heights, that allow me to walk on top of the clouds, that allow me to feel like I'm worth something, all because I'm able to create art and read it aloud, that allow me to feel like I'm worth something, all because I'm able to create art and read it aloud, that allow me to find purpose in the chaos that is life, that allow me to feel like I truly belong, all because I choose to write.
Just the intensity of your gaze on me stokes a furnace I didn't know was burning, and a phantom of your touch to seduce me. You make me feel like beauty itself. I can't stop the smile from meeting my eyes. My mind is fuzzy and numb. My heart is a bullet train ready to come out of my chest. Your hands touch me and I'm intoxicated. The strength and gentleness of your hands firmly on my hips, drawing me in, sends a tidal wave of butterflies to erupt inside of me.
Our bodies touch, causing a flood of heat to cascade through me, demanding that my body contours to you. I may be able to manipulate words into taking a form, but baby, you have the ability to pull my strings. When you touch me, you make me shudder with bliss. I'll worship you like a god, tasting all of you, a smile dancing across full lips while never looking away. I love to provoke you. Being bad for you, your punishments of spankings are so thrilling. Or when you act like a wolf and I'm your prey, biting up my flesh, making me rouse in every way. Stimulating. You dare me to run. I'm exhilarated to have you chase me, to grab and snatching me in, captivating my breath and sanity, pulling me to the edge of reality. You love the view from the back, and I love when you tame me this way. With just enough force to keep me grounded, you nuzzle your face between my legs in search of hydration and ways to make me scream out your name. Por favor, papi, y digan más. Yo necesito tú. If these walls could talk, excuse me, if your lustful eyes could talk, these walls would be telling our secrets, face down, ass up. I feel your heat encompass me, pulling my scent with each breath. Finally, you give me what I crave. Oh, how he fills me. With each thrust and pull, walls are gripping and pulsating. Wings are on full display. Sheets are being ripped from the bed. Sweat is the least of our concern as the Kama Sutra begins to take notes from us. Come for me, Daddy. An animal is released who is cardinally fixed, and I am dinner. Lord, help me. I'm coming with you. Oh. We are a tangled mess of bodies and sheets to meet again in round 2. Mm. Give me that look of gratification. You know, pupils dilated, pulse quickens, muscles flexing, that bottom lip bite. Sweet Christmas. My body willingly dances to you. I try not to smile. Command me to you. See, puppy. Oh, your tongue is pinning me against the wall, hands to explore my body as if deciphering a forgotten language. Your mouth finds the scent of the crown at the nape of my neck, forcing a moan out of me, and with an ease of submission, my body melts. The ground vanishes. We are lost, and all morals are dissolved. Lustful thoughts are released with every kiss. And locked eye exchange. You say I look like a tasty snack, and to have a seat on your face. The hunger of oral fixation is an insatiable addiction that won't be sequestered. I am your drug of choice, yet you have me strung out, jesting how the devil lives in my tongue as I converse with your member. A mischievous smile playing on full lips as I turn you on, with eyes never daring to look away. Coming to you in languages you can't even speak. The deep sea diver in you has a need
to make me into a puddle, a shaking mess, never satisfied until trembling and leaking. Anything less is failure. Tasting you, tasting me, tasting us is. The arch in my back has you looking like a cowboy at the rodeo, ready to tame a bull, calling for the angel to escort you on your first class flight into heaven to commence. Rod, staff, king, filling me. Oh, how he fills me, losing my religion. This Pisces is embracing the waterfalls. Walls are registering on the Richter scale. Grip. Clutch. Oh, hold. Oh, choke. Yes. Thank. Oh, yes. I love the way we get down, making the bedroom our private playground. You're always so mesmerized by how wet and tight I am. Painted walls mixed with sweat, drenched in screams is what we're trying to contain within the chaos between us. This pounding rhythm keeps you coming. My wings turning you on. The grip on my hips has me begging for the puppy. Por favor, ay, qué rico. Drool is pouring from you. Deep moans with eyes rolling back from me as I reach my climax. Coming is a game we play until exhaustion. Um, Too bad I wake up hungry. We get to work on room 3.
So, all right, boys and girls, we're going to have a poem about race, but don't panic. So settle in, all right? Don't wiggle, don't squirm. Yes, this is a poem with a lesson to learn. It's about something big, it's about something tough. It's about how we're different, but also enough. That don't you go running. Don't dash for the door. I promise it won't be a total big bore. See, people get nervous when talking about race. Like it's juggling porcupines right in your face. But listen up close and don't miss a trick, because fixing division is not a simple trick. It's not made of math or tax forms or glue. It's simple, the art of not acting a screw. Now let's paint a picture. Imagine a street with folks walking past, but they never do meet. They side eye, they whisper, they clutch at their baguettes. Okay, not all of them, but some, you can bet. One side wears yellow, the other wears green. And no one remembers what that even means. But long, long ago, some old grumpy chap said greens don't like yellows. And that was just that. But one day, aha, two kids got all tangled. Their jump ropes went loopy. Their kites all got mangled. They flopped in a heap. And what do you know? A green helped a yellow get up from below. The town gasped in horror. Oh dear, oh gee, you talked to a yellow. That simply won't be. But the kids just blinked and shrugged at the crowd and said, well, that's weird. Is that not allowed? They scratched at their heads. They looked at the sky. Then one man admitted, I don't quite know why. Then the mayor stepped forward and coughed with a frown and said, wait a second. This is our town. And just like that, the rule book was toast, which sounds like a snack, but it's not a good host. The lines disappeared, the barriers all fell, and as it turns out, the streets smelled much better as well. So now when you walk down the town's little square, you'll see every color just being right there. Because history's written, but histories bend, and dumb, made up rules can come to an end. And yes, this is a poem about race. And you stayed, heard it. You looked it in the face. And hey, no explosions, no fire, no doom. Just people existing with a little more room. Pain used to come at me, knife drawn, shingled teeth, shedding, tobacco stained nails, hammering hard times on heads. I was brave knight in bar fight, young, dumb, and full of come get it. I was lightweight, heavy hitter, cotton candy kicks, taking sucker punches from babies. I've lived too long. Pain has grown up with me. I remember thinking the diagnosis would help. Pain said it was fine with the name it had. Nothing was gained by changing her name. She's still just as fine as she's ever been. Same stain of hell on my life. A backpack straitjacket, tightening braces on kneecaps, bare knuckling, buckling, backbone, no prayer found on my knees. Chronic pain ain't bad on the
normal ones. I would be so good if I was on death row. Happiest kid at the hospital.
oncoming traffic without flinching, without draw, bare knuckles to thrown on my hat into wedding rings. My pain has grown with me. She's so mature now, not an amateur. She bears no knife no more. She has washed, clean hands, smiling regretfully in laced nightgown. I can leave her for the day. In the fight for my life, pain is always in my corner. She's gonna make me sleep with her again. This pain has no heat to it. Most days. Most days it's slow. Always. Leeching, sucking sinew, a slugfest. Gloves off, squared off, holding hands, nowhere else for either one of us to go. My stained glass chin, her sipping 1-2 punch. I know it's changing me. I don't laugh as much. It's harder to catch my breath. I don't talk as much. I've been learning that silence hurts less than being discarded. This life is tough, y'all. And so is a mess. And so am I.
I want to be that thong in your crack. That arch in your back that makes you react like wild beasts when you release. See, I want to be your natural vaginal secretions connected to the reasons why you come. Plain and simple. Damn, I just want to be in you. See, I want to be that sensuous touch that you love so much because it makes your nipples stand up like 9mm bullets. And I want to be the blood cells running through your veins so the next time you on your cycle, you bleed my name. I just want to be in you. See, I want to make that man on the boat rock until you scream, stop. Because your toes and your fingers lock like dreads. And I want to rub you down in prayer oil so your womb will be anointed and then by the laws of gymnastics, putting you in positions that'll make you seem triple jointed. And if you was bit by a snake, I'd suck the venom out through your womb. Knowing I'm doomed, then swallow it because it was in you. I'll even pay you to be in you, especially when you're bending, because it's the thrill of blowing a cool meal in you will keep me spending. See, I want to be a sperm cell. Impregnate you with me for 9 months, you carry me. Give birth, wait till I'm 18, and God damn it, shout it. Remarry me. I just want to be in you. And if the devil condemns you to hell for making love to me, let's burn, baby, burn and continue. Because even in hell, I just want to be in you. At 180 degrees, I want to keep your knees bent to the bed. 69 is fine, but let's keep it slow so we both can get some head. Maintain my speed limit so I control my finish, cause splashing on your walls, that's like writing graffiti on your heart. And when your legs part, I hear cherubims and harps. How sweet the sound. I need your amazing grace on my face. Allow me to put this wood in your fireplace, 'cause your climax, it takes me to a higher place. Shorty, I believe your pussy is so good it'll make me feel like I'm with two freaks on new sheets. Get 'em two nuts apiece. See them both in 2 weeks. I'm too deep in your pink sea. Somebody save me. Put me on dry land because the way that pussy grabbed this dick, I could have sworn you had 3 hands. Your pussy tight like that. It's ripe like that. It's fruit to be devoured, and I'd eat your peach for an hour. Spread your flower. Allow me to put my nose in your pink rose and breathe for me and you through your fallopian tubes. And when you shaking, oh, and you trembling, oh, and you feel like you're about to come, I need you to stop. Pick up your iPhone and call your ex-boyfriend so that motherfucker can hear how this shit was supposed to be done. So if you're hot right now and you want Mr. Whispers all up in you. Sorry, Shorty, I'm married now and I can no longer continue. Whisper loudly.
I sincerely apologize ahead of time if I am not what you expect or if I'm too quiet or awkward. At times, trying to make meaningful relationships with people is like squeezing blood from a stone, but in the little time that we've gotten to know each other, our interactions may have been fun, quirky, engaging, maybe deep, but deep down, there are 1,000 clowns jammed inside a heart-shaped car, weeping loudly with rainbow-painted tears dripping, splattering, and echoing throughout the hollowed-out core of my being, all while lightning is slashing through the superstorm in my brain, and my nerves quake violently like a million maracas strung together by live wire. With that said, I hope you can be patient with someone who needs as much reassurance as I do. My paranoia of accidentally saying or doing the wrong thing will set off an avalanche of suffocating doubt and fear that will leave me frozen solid. I constantly worry about making you uncomfortable or coming off too strong. When it comes to reading vibes, I'm deathly illiterate. I read it on my face every time I look in the mirror. There are times in which I shape shifts to be able to feel more comfortable in my own skin, although it's nearly impossible if you to feel comfortable in your skin if you're anything but white in New Hampshire. Sometimes it feels like I had to wear my name in shame in the fashion we were forced to wear elementary school clothes because nobody that I know except my family could pronounce my first name correctly dating back to childhood. And having been made fun of for not having a normal name, which is why I just made it simple for everyone with just 3 letters, D-R-E. Yeah. Although I am working with flaws of my attention retention, I fear it may be a problem to you as much as it was with my last lover. Shit. If I had a dime for every time I accidentally spaced in conversation and get cussed out for it, I would have a whole bunch of dimes. What were we talking about again? Oh, anyway. After all that's been said, hope I didn't just scare you off because you seem to be a wonderful serving of cool beans chilling in some awesome sauce. And going out for a quick bite of food sounds like music to my ears. Now I'm hungry. Are you? Just like a quick bite together.
Stampedes of crazed adults trampling children, storming shells in the fashion of Allied forces, storming Normandy Beach. Grown-ass adults investing their life savings into purchasing the rarest of their kind, only to lose almost all of the value of their collection. A New Hampshire couple thought they had a dope idea by forging checks to purchase and sell them for a profit to purchase heroin. Now now flooding hospital donation bins, Goodwill and Savers locations nationwide, in the closets of unfortunate heirs of a lost fortune. Beanie Babies were the Bitcoin of the 1990s. These little limp sacks of understuffed animals now face a more grim future, filling of beanbag chairs, as their owners have developed a fetish of sitting on the carcasses of their friends, mainly as a way to achieve a dopamine rush by exacting revenge on their failed investments of hopes and dreams through imprisonments, utter dominance, and occasional gas torture by way of flatulence. In a movement as bizarre as the movements that birthed it, this cake is known by many different names, depending on region. Beanie Baby chambering has taken the North American furry communities by storm in a similar fashion that Queenie Babying was popularized by the royal family. Beanie Baby Kinkaroo has shook Japan's kink world to its core, to the point that cyberpunk cinema is experiencing a renaissance. The ripples of influence even stretch out throughout India, as new positions were included in a revised edition of the Kama Sutra, named after some of the most popular Beanie Babies, with squealing voted #1 in Cosmopolitan India's list of hottest positions to do with your partner this summer. It doesn't matter what you call it. At the end of the day, it is a yum that will be yucked. A lot more than toes getting sucked in an ever so evolving case study that is worth exploring, preferably from a distance.
I can't afford you. Will never be a compliment to me. Y'all don't carry that same energy for niggas in charge of your utilities or when you need a zip of weed, but you want me to show face for free? And you got the nerve to ask for a custom piece. Man, y'all really have no pride. You book a DJ, a caterer, and a venue with ease, but when it comes to a poet, you drop to your knees, begging for a favor like exposure, pay bills, like my ink ain't a craft, as if my words don't make you feel. You want a birthday piece dripping in sentiment, a wedding verse filled with reverence, a V-Day piece to entice your bitch, a eulogy to make death feel lighter and shit. But you ain't got a dime for the writer. Put some respect on the pens, because without a writer, you won't like the end. Shit, you probably won't have an end. No vowels, no hooks, no lines, no books, no scripts to flip, no bars to cook. At the end of the day, people pay for what they want. And as an artist, I'm a need. Like something thick in the bloodstream. Like how you need an imagination for dreams and a soul so you could taste humanity. So nah, you can't afford me, and that's fine. Just don't pretend it's a compliment next time.
May I have your attention? I am your ringmaster taking over for Malysa the ExcLusiVe, you know, the one spelled Malysa. But tonight, we're going to flip it. So welcome to the asylum. You see, I run this tent like a circus. Whipped lions and clowns when they play around. I balance the beams like elephants doing pirouettes. Yeah, I am the way of escape that you can't wait to medicate. Come one and come all. That spotlight you see on me be the eye of my soul, keeping watch while I'm juggling all these other personalities. Before I reintroduce this beast, please take your seats and watch your attire, because she likes to spit fire. Are you not entertained? There's a sideshow where you can see the ones that came to know before you. They tried to tame me, but they ended up being my circus freaks. And now they never want to leave. They call me Big Mother. Please, please, please hear me. I am the lesson that your mama couldn't teach. I'm more hands-on with my reach. I'm the one who wrote and taught it. Where you think she bought it? I'm glad we could play pretend again, though, my friends. You know, I love getting in that head while I'm working on your brain, because under this big top, we got big candy and big snacks, big nuts, and I got a big cat. Ew. Now, let's go ahead and take an intermission. But don't pet the animals without my permission. You see, they're trained to attack, and I don't really want to have to watch that. Thank you for coming to Asylum Circus. First, let me start with an apology. Simply put, baby, I'm sorry. Now, before you turn around and your face begins to frown, please turn back. Let me look at you. Baby, those features, they're top shelf. Looking at you is like I'm looking at my own self. And with that being said, I know I fucked up in quadruplet ways. But I promise that through those passes and waves, I was just trying to teach myself to swim. And I was trying to find my place in him. You see, just like you, I've been in love, lust, hurt, harm, shame, shit, even running game. And you've seen me hustle. And you see me tussle. So unfortunately, I know what you see because you had to see your life through me. Now, my mommy, she did her best, but I digress. I just try not to stress out too much about it because I know that stress somehow will have you sick. And you see me almost lose my life in a coma behind the same shit. So certain parts of my life, I had to quit. And I know you know I'm talking right, but when you're on the inside looking out, you don't see everywhere that you're blemished. So you take the labels that other people give you, you wrap up in them and then internally diminish. Yeah, I get it. The second thing that I want to say is that you were right for protecting your peace and for choosing your positive energy. And although I wish I wasn't the target or your subjective choice, I'm finally glad that you found your voice because I'd rather hear you whiling than to know that you're somewhere suffering in silence. Baby, I'm never against you. Remember, I'm the one that then snatched up a few mama sons, told them you can go get your mother or your father. I'll square up with either one. I done called in favors from across the sun and played the fool purposefully because that's what a mother is supposed to be. And interchangeably, let me unpack my flaws because I'm in no ways perfect. So forgive me for expecting you to be, but I was just scared as fuck of you turning into me. You see, there are still places that I need to be. Every day it's a hit or miss. I still struggle with knowing that I deserve simple love, peace, and happiness. Are you hearing this? I said, I still struggle with knowing that I deserve simple love, peace, and happiness. Everywhere that I thought it was safe for us to unpack our moving truck, we ended up more physically, mentally, and even spiritually fucked up with no time to heal, no time to breathe, no time to rationalize, and no time to buy back the time that got seized. And we're here now. And I swear I can't even recall everything that I've done wrong. A lot of it I've had to suppress because it would kill me inside if I had to digest. Nevertheless, here I am on my pen and pad trying to right my wrong. So lastly, I'm asking you to forgive me. Understand that every moment, second, and hour of time is brand new to me. And I know that this wasn't God's plan for our legacy, but it was indeed the plan of the enemy. So I'm going to renounce my part. You see, I don't want to be another crack in our family's broken heart, especially before it spills into Generation Next. I love you. Sincerely, from your mother.